what we did last time to keep this lecture self-complete. We have looked at the three aspects of design. The broad aspects involve getting an idea about the size of the process. So, we have the overall mole balances. Paraphrased, it would mean for a given separation task which involves data including the total molar flow rate of gas and the concentration with which we start and we bring it down to. So, that is basically the specification of the process as it is given to us from the other unit, other industry, whatever that case may be. So, for absorption tower, the total molar flow rate, concentration of the solute which is present and the concentration with which the gas must leave, these will be the specifications. Choice of a solvent, initial concentration would depend on the process conditions in the plant where this solvent is available. If a fresh solvent is available, then the concentration will be 0, and we only make a choice of what highest concentration we allow the liquid to attain, and that I said is keeping in mind the practical viability of your gas absorption process. The average driving force must be acceptable, so that the rates of transfer are not very small. So, you would decide what the outlet liquid concentration would be. Then the only unknown will be the liquid molar flow rate. So, you can obtain that. I like you to remember this, that at the end of this step we would know from the calculated molar flow rate of liquid required and the given molar flow rate of gas to be treated, we know the ratio of gas to liquid or liquid to gas, mole ratio or mass ratio. Okay. So, one knows how large this process is. That is the first objective and first step. The second aspect of design is determination of the cross sectional area, and very succinctly we could say that this is governed by fluid dynamics and not by mass transfer. Last part is determination of tower height, and it would be influenced by the mass transfer coefficient. So, that is a part which we need to deal with, but let us have a quick look at all these. The mole balance would be at the tower level. Consider the control volume enclosing the entire tower. So, we have the gas in and gas out, liquid and liquid out. The overall mole balance would be GA is the gas molar flow rate, because G is gas molar flux, A is the area, we do not know that yet. LA is the total liquid flow rate. Y in and Y out are given to you. X out you would choose, X in will be governed by the process conditions. If it is a fresh solvent, X in will be 0. So, as a result of everything being known, LA would be determined, and then we know how much of gas has to be treated with how much of liquid. Okay. Our assumption of a dilute vapor would mean changes in the molar fluxes of both gas and liquid, that is G and L, would be minimal. So, we could presume constancy of G and L throughout the column. It is an approximation, but dilute vapor would justify that approximation. Tower cross sectional area would depend on nature of packing, type of packing, nature of fluid flow, and we saw the packings could be of different kinds: Raschig rings, Burl saddles, lacing ring, partition, Paul ring, etc. These are random packings. You have other kinds of packings which are stacked packings. Example are wooden slats arranged in a cross fashion in a cooling tower, not normally used in absorption. And then what flow problems we encounter are next in order. Channeling is liquid or gas following the path of lesser resistance, so that they avoid each other. Contact area is then the factor to suffer. As a result, the mass transfer rate, overall mass transfer rate or the extent of separation would also suffer. This problem is dependent on the packings, most severe in stacked packings, minor in crushed solid packings, and minimal in the random or structured packings. After channeling, we come across loading, and that was argued on the basis of drag. If for a given liquid flow rate through a packed tower downward, you continue to increase gas flow rate from a very low value, at some point of time there will be measurable reduction in the liquid flow rate, that we will call as loading point. If you continue to increase the gas flow rate counter current to the liquid flow rate, at some point of time liquid would be prohibited from flowing down. The drag will counterbalance its movement and it will start accumulating or flooding the column, at which point of time your column will lose all its efficiency for mass transfer. That's, we will say, is disaster we have to avoid at any cost. Now, the total amounts of liquid and gas would be involved in this flooding. Okay. And in particular, how large the gas absorption process is needed, that will have bearing on the flooding problem. And if we think in terms of a finer detail, we should be actually thinking of what are the liquid and gas fluxes, mass fluxes rather than molar fluxes, that would cause this flooding. Given the size of process, the total flow rates of liquid and gas, mass flow rates of liquid and gas, now are decided. We can't do anything about them. Given extent of separation is a task. How we do that is with the choice of appropriate solvent and the X out or outgoing flow rate and concentration. Now, that will be decided once the solvent is decided and what is the X in, everything else is decided. We don't have any more control over GA and LA, right? We know their ratio, but we know that in terms of the drag, it would be the mass fluxes which would be important. So, to distinguish the mass fluxes from molar fluxes, we will rather talk of L prime and G prime. At this level, we know G prime A and L prime A ratio. We don't know A. That is what we need to decide. So, we take recourse to this idea that for a given value of G prime A and L prime A, total gas flow rate, mass flow rate and total liquid mass flow rate, if we choose a suitable area of the column, then G prime and L prime may be of such value that we are at a safe distance from flooding condition. Okay. I repeat, G prime A and L prime A are given to you. A is to be determined. Okay. If we arbitrarily choose some cross sectional area which corresponds to such values of G prime and L prime that the flooding is assured, we have trouble. So, our objective will be to choose such area that we are a safe distance from the flooding condition. Okay. But we are not too far from flooding condition either. I will explain why. The experiments that you would do in the laboratory would give you a plot like this. This is the flooding curve now I want you to concentrate on. Look at this is the abscissa where we have L prime to G prime ratio. That is known to you. The rest is densities, so that is known to you. On the ordinate corresponding to these abscissa values, we have G prime square and then we have viscosity to the power 0.1 for liquid and rho G rho L product. So, if we know this ratio, we can know what G prime is, which means this G prime and then corresponding L prime will guarantee us there will be flooding. We want to avoid that. So, what we do is we try to reduce the fluxes by increasing the cross sectional area of the tower. Okay. Now, the question is, how do we go about handling this fluid mechanical problem, fluid dynamical problem, and make a wide choice of the area? There are two factors operating here. What we normally do is, this is a thumb rule or a practical wisdom. that we choose to operate our column at half the flooding values. So, if we know G prime and L prime which cause flooding, we rather aim at working with such an area that the gas mass flow rate is G prime by 2 and liquid mass flux is L prime by 2. The reason is following. If you take too low a flux, it will mean for a given G prime A or given corresponding L prime A will be too large, because product of G prime A and product of L prime A are both constants. If you choose two small values for G prime and L prime, that will mean obviously A is very large. What does large area mean? It will be a fat column, very broad column, large cross sectional area. Too large a tower, too much material of construction, and that's a fixed cost. That cost will be inordinate. We don't want to increase the cost of your equipment too much. What is the problem with the other end? Why not go for too high fluxes? If G prime and L prime are too large, the gas and liquid mass fluxes are too large, it will mean the area is too small. And what does a small area mean? A small area will mean too large a blower. One might not worry so much about the liquid, because you could argue liquid is pumped to the top and then it flows down by gravity, but it is the gas you have to pump or rather blow through the column. Remember, it's a packed column. Then the corresponding pressure drops will be very high, and so pumping costs will go up. So it's a balance of the large capital cost or fixed cost against a large operating cost. All of chemical engineering practice will have to deal with the optimal cost structure. We have to balance the operating cost against the fixed cost. Okay. So that is how this safety rule, that you operate at half the flooding values, or more conspicuously, the factor of 2 comes into picture. You would learn again and again in chemical engineering, especially in design, that for some reason the factor of 2 is favorite of chemical engineers. We choose to play with a factor of safety of 2. Incidentally, if you contrast it against the safety factor that nature uses, and by the way, that applies to your bodies, human bodies, animal bodies, the nature plays with a factor of safety of about 10. So don't give up easily. You can tide over all adversities. Nature has made us very strong. Okay. Engineers can't afford to be that flexible, so we choose a factor of 2. That's a rather elaborate answer. You would really have to go into a combination of sports medicine. So I encourage you to play. Don't worry about the injuries. You will heal. And even when the situation is dismal, there is a very high assurance given by nature that you will get well. Last part, and I guess the most relevant part of this discussion today, is the tower height. We know that tower height will dictate the time of phase contact, so it will be linked to the mass transfer coefficient. So to mass transfer. Okay. We need one picture which I had shown earlier again here. This is the column. Now only a schematic diagram. We place our coordinate z equal to 0 here, and we measure z in this direction. The height of tower will be capital L or capital L. So remember, the gas enters here, gas mole fraction is Y. So mole fraction here is Y0. It will leave here at L. So mole fraction here is Y sub L. Okay. Liquid enters from top and leaves here. So it enters at L. So it is XL at entry, X0 at the outlet. Okay. And in particular, we will make a differential balance over this height delta Z between Z and Z plus delta Z. One more thing. Gas is coming richer here, going leaner here. Liquid is coming leaner here, going richer up. So, in this direction of increasing Z, the concentration of gas or mole fraction of solute in gas Y is decreasing. In this direction, X is increasing. In this case, Y is decreasing, and in this case, in that direction, X is also decreasing, because liquid comes fresh here, leaves richer here. The gas is losing. Okay. So, those are in passing notations we will require. Now, we come to the balances. So, we focus on balance over delta Z, between Z and Z plus delta Z. There are two kinds of balances we will make, and we require three equations. Okay. So, you could already guess what I am talking about. Two balances will be mass balances or mole balances, and the third one, which will be, will have to go beyond fluid mechanics. We already have utilized mass transfer in these two balances. There is something beyond the kinetics. So, that will have the third key. So, we need three equations here also. Okay. So, first we make the mass balance over the solute in this portion delta Z, considering both gas and liquid together. If area of cross section is capital A and this height is delta Z, then A times delta Z, capital A times delta Z, is the volume of this section, but it is packed. Packings will have their own area, and we know something about that area. We have, from the choice of the packing and choice of the packing size, we know what is the specific area. So, we know for packing the geometrical specific area, area per volume, meter square per meter cube. Okay. I am just explaining these elements because I want to piece together all these into the first balance. So, here in delta Z, in that section delta Z, gas GA at this molar flow rate enters and leaves. Whatever little is lost, but because of dilute vapor we neglect. So, we say GA enters and GA leaves. Liquid picks up that solute, but again because the vapor was dilute, the liquid flow rate will not be altered much. So, LA enters at Z plus delta Z and leaves at Z. So, the total solute mole balance taken over gas and liquid together, both of them together, in that height of delta Z or volume A times delta Z is going to be this. Input with gas flow is GA YZ, outflow of gas is GA YZ plus delta Z. So, in minus out, and here LA XZ plus delta Z enters from Z plus delta Z and leaves at Z. So, LA XZ is what leaves. Solute in with the liquid minus solute in with the liquid. This will be total in minus out, input minus output. It must be equal to accumulation. If there is no reaction, then it must be equal to accumulation. We could presume we have a steady state. So, accumulation is 0. So, we equate this to 0. Okay. What is the sign of? They are flow rates. We are making a mass balance. So, now that is something which you have to bear in mind. If we know the process, we have the liquid coming from top which is fresh, and it is going out picking up more and more gas. So, X is increasing downward direction. Okay. Gas is being lost, the solute is being lost by the gas phase. So, in the downward direction Y is also increasing, it is decreasing in the Z direction, but opposite direction it is increasing. In mass balance, either we strictly work with vectorial notations, or as we typically do not want to make mistakes, we want to ensure that we consider what are positives, what are negatives, and justify it for ourselves. Okay. Here everything is positive, all flow rates are positive. So, GA is positive, LA is positive. They are going to be here moles, K moles per second, okay, of total gas and total liquid, positives. All mole fractions are positive, okay, and we know that gas enters richer at Z and leaves leaner at Z plus delta Z. So, this is going to be positive. So, this is the quantity which gas has lost of the solute vapor. What is gained by the liquid having come at, it is more concentrated at Z, Z is the lower one, right? It is coming with less concentration x z plus delta z, right? So now La x z plus delta z minus x z, this is going to be your input minus output, okay, input minus output. So sum total of the input minus output is going to be 0. Look at it other way, we can paraphrase it slightly differently. Z is here, z plus delta z is here. What is entering is Ga yz, and what is entering with the liquid is La x z plus delta z. What is leaving with the liquid is La x z, so that's minus. What is leaving with the gas is Ga yz plus delta z. Okay, clear? So this quantity is positive, this quantity is negative. So we have the net input minus output with the gas plus net input minus output with the liquid added together must give you 0 if there is a steady state. In a little while later, this will become obvious. Let us go one step further. Divide through by A delta z. Once you divide by A delta z, this will become, A is gone, you have G yz minus yz plus delta z by delta z. And by definition of the differential, this is going to be minus dy by dz, this will be dx by dz. Under the assumption of constancy of G and L, we therefore can write 0 is equal to minus G dy by dz plus L dx by dz. I think let us make it little interactive. You can work with me. Let us go a little slower. Jot down this equation, all of you, quickly. Those who are starting now can ask the same questions again. Be clear. It will help going further, because I know that the other steps will be a little more involved. Some effort from your side will be necessary. And possibly I will be able to help you solve a problem also if you work quickly. This is solved stuff, so you can do it easily. Z is measured from bottom towards top. Z is 0 at bottom and small l at top. Small l is the height of the tower. G and L are molar fluxes of gas and liquid. A is the area. So flux times area is the flow rate. That is the molar flow rate of gas, molar flow rate of liquid. Y and X are mole fractions in the gas and in the liquid of the solute vapor. This is input minus output with the gas, and this is input minus output with the liquid. Total input minus output of the solute will be equal to accumulation. We presume steady state for a packed tower, so the accumulation is 0. Divide this equation by A delta z, use the definition of a derivative, and so you should be able to even in your mind work out that this is going to be minus dy by dz times G, and this is going to be dx by dz into L. So this is what you get, right? So 0 equal to minus G dy by dz plus L dx by dz. Is everyone with me? Okay. Now simplify this. You can get rid of dz and you can write this as dx by dy equal to G by L, right? Now if you cross multiply and see, L dx equal to G dy. What is G dy? It is the solute lost by the gas, and what is L dx? That is the solute gained by the liquid. So the two are equal. So G dy equal to L dx. You don't even need to write this, but I would want you to formally write this. Okay. If in exams you are asked to derive these expressions, you start with the mass balance, because that's the central message I want you to follow. Okay. So next is knowing that at z equal to 0, that is at the bottom, the mole fraction of gas will be y sub 0 and mole fraction of x will be x sub 0. We should be able to integrate this equation. So what you do now is here integral of dx G by L dy will give you x equal to x0 plus G by L y minus y0, and this is an equation, differential equation written at any point, so it's local, right? Here after integrating we get x equal to x0 plus G by L y minus y0. which means basically we are relating at any point within the column x and y. Also, I repeat that this has come from the solute mass balance. This is our first key equation in obtaining the height of the tower. We need one more equation from mass balance. So, can you guess what other mass balance could we make? Now, I will take you back. We made one mass balance which is on total solute in delta z, in that height delta z or volume A times delta z. Now, I am asking you a second question. Think of another mass balance you can make in the same section between z and z plus delta z. What would that be? Should not take more than 30 seconds. You could actually give me two answers and both will be correct. We need only one. Just suggest one more mass balance in the same section. That we already done. We took the control volume covering the whole absorption tower, packed tower. That we had done. I was around this time I was about to give out that clue. So, if the clue is mass transfer coefficient, suggest now what other balance we can make different from this. That I just said that overall mole balance we already made. So, how many phases do we have? We have two. So, actually depending on whether you choose to make a balance on gas or on liquid, you can give me two answers, okay, and they both will be right. Let us say we only continue to make a balance on the gas phase, okay. Please remember, this is a point of bifurcation. I could choose one path or the other. I have two options and they are equivalent. I am choosing to go along the gas phase balance. If I choose the balance on gas phase, I should be talking about gas phase mass transfer coefficient, okay. So, if we make that selective balance on the gas phase, once again for steady state accumulation is 0. Input and output terms will resemble like the first two terms earlier. Input minus output with the gas, these first two terms are identical. GA into y at z minus y at z plus delta z, this is what has been lost by the gas phase. Input minus output, minus loss term is there in the gas phase, and that is by transfer across the interface. If the gas film mass transfer coefficient is small k subscript g, and I admit at this point that the resistance to solute transfer might be partly in gas, partly in liquid, because we agreed to neglect the resistance in the interface for this course. We should be able to talk in terms of overall gas phase mass transfer coefficient, that we indicate as this kg. The driving force is going to be the gas phase concentration in that section delta z C1 minus C1 star. What is C1 star? C1 star is what would be the equivalent or equilibrium concentration in the gas phase if that gas were to be in equilibrium with the local liquid. That is this C1 star. Overall gas phase mass transfer coefficient will be defined by this understanding that the flux is that overall mass transfer coefficient times the delta C, which is the current concentration in the gas phase, minus the concentration which would be present in the gas if it were to be in equilibrium with the liquid. Because supposing at this point by some means we had already reached equilibrium in the liquid, then there should be no transfer, isn't it? So, maybe this is something which I should explain a bit more. Please remember, by and large, we go along the difference in concentration in space as the driving force, because that is more in tune with our diffusional picture. Generally, the mass transfer coefficient when multiplied by the concentration differences between two locations within a phase will give you the flux, okay. But there are systems where there is no observable gradient of concentration, and the example will be well stirred systems. If they are completely backmixed systems, everywhere in space the concentration is same and yet mass transfer may be happening. So, the difference in concentration present value minus some time later when equilibrium is attained, that could be the driving force. Or in this case, we have a contact of liquid and gas. gas is transferring solute from the gas phase to the liquid. That means the liquid bulk must be at a concentration which, if the gas were in equilibrium with, would still be lower than what currently is within the gas. Okay. This is greater than this because this is a concentration, it's an equivalent concentration. In reality, we have to deal with a liquid phase with certain solute with its concentration, but we choose to deal with the entire thing in gas terms. That's the idea of overall gas phase mass transfer coefficient. Okay. So this is a real gas phase concentration. At this point in this section delta Z, this is the gas phase concentration. This would be the concentration in gas if it were to be in equilibrium with the liquid to which it is losing the solute. Is that clear? See, we can't do that. We can't just subtract concentration in gas phase minus concentration in the liquid phase. We can't do it. You can only subtract concentration within the same phase. So if you take two concentrations, take this. There is a gas phase, there is interphase, there is a liquid. If you take difference in concentration in the gas phase bulk and the interphase but within the gas, there we will have gas phase mass transfer coefficient. You take the interface concentration in liquid minus concentration in liquid in the bulk, you will have liquid film transfer coefficient. Those will be small kg, small kl. If these are combined, we can get either this capital K subscript capital G overall gas phase transfer coefficient or capital K subscript capital L is the overall liquid phase transfer coefficient. If it is liquid phase transfer coefficient, the other limb, the other path you had taken, you would not be writing in terms of gas phase but in terms of liquid phase. Okay. So that is the other option for you. We will shortly see how the individual transfer coefficients are related to the overall transfer. Now if this is all clear, then you do the same exercise again quickly. Divide this by A delta Z, take the limit delta Z tending to 0 and you should obtain this other mass balance which includes mass transfer coefficient. So divide by A delta Z and then take limit delta Z tending to 0. This will give you same term as earlier, minus G dy by dz, and there is one thing more which I missed out. This is the flux I told you, Kg times C1 minus C1 star. You also, for the total mass transfer rate, you need the total area, the specific area times the volume of that section. So this is read from that chart. A delta Z is the total volume. So this is the total interfacial area. Clear? So we divide by A delta Z, take limit delta Z tend to 0 and then we have this minus G dy by dz minus Kg AC Y minus Y star. Y and Y star are mole fractions. Y actual gas phase mole fraction, Y star mole fraction in gas phase if it were to be in equilibrium with the current liquid concentration. This is our second equation. We can try integrating this. Separate the variables and integrate. So we take dz on one side, rest of y terms on the other, and you get this. Height of the tower should be integral 0 to L dz equal to minus G by Kg AC Y minus Y star integral from Y0 to YL, right? G is taken constant because of dilute vapor assumption. We can take it out. Kg AC all are constant, so we take that out. If we were to use this equation, we must know how Y star depends on Y. Unless this equilibrium relationship is known, we can't integrate this. Under the assumption of dilute vapor, it means now having exhausted two mass balances, we have to go now beyond the kinetics, and that is equilibrium, and that comes from thermodynamics, Y star equal to Hx. We know how to relate X and Y because we had this equation. From the first part of mole balance, mass balance, we have this equation. So we substitute this quantity for X in the Henry's law. Y star equal to Hx is Henry's law. So Y star will be H into X will be X0 plus G by L Y minus Y0. So we managed to get X in terms of Y and therefore Y star in terms of Y. So we plug it in here and then integrate. Maybe I'll leave it to you now to try and work out at home, and in next class we'll finish this. Okay.